I think it's up to us as leaders to explain why we're doing things and how we do them. And, our why is we're in the business of making people feel comfortable, safe, happy, and well looked after.
Sure.
And how we do it is a million different things. If I have a group of staff and we're doing a bit of training, one of my ones is I'll just go, right, everybody point north. And they'll go, well, I say, you need to make a decision, point north. And everybody will go, there. And I'll go, well, let me tell you something. North is that way, right? Now, everyone point north. So when they know where it is and what it is, they're much more likely, in fact, 99%, to do what they're supposed to do. But if you don't tell them and they don't know, then you're going to get 10 different results.
I interviewed Margot Henderson. She was saying that one of Fergus's things, like how he got St. John going in the day, it was tell them again. And it's that same thing as your north, pointing north. What happens if, say, everyone was pointing north and this is moving the salt shaker, and then suddenly, you're in the chaos of a pub, it's a cacophony of like craziness, and people's fucking North Star starts moving. Well, how do you tweak that? Like, is that a thing?
I think really the answer to that one is you got to give them as much help and information as you can.
Sure.
And there comes a stage when a member of staff becomes trustworthy in terms of what they do. Obviously someone comes in who has worked somewhere else and has their own ways of doing things. They're going to take weeks to become trustworthy. And once you reach the trustworthy threshold where I'm confident that you're doing the right thing most of the time and that you get it and you understand how the flow works and you understand how things work, and you're likely to have juniors asking you questions and you're likely to give them the right answer. What I say to people at that level is, I now trust you to make decisions. So when you need to make a decision about how to do something, what I want you to do is think, what do you think Ush would do? And do that. And if you're totally wrong, I'm still going to back your decision, but we're going to discuss it. And if you're right, brilliant. So crack on.
Is there an example?
That empowers people to just get on with things.
Is there an example, I mean, obviously not like, no names or anything, of where that has happened? Because that's a beautiful, nuanced sort of leadership principle of you build the trust, and I think,
and you give it, you
give it to them, and then if they balls it up, it gives them the freedom to say, right, whatever decision I make is right. But if it goes wrong, like what's the nuance there of how you correct that? And I suppose
you support the decision. That's the most important thing. Okay. Even if it's completely fucking wrong.
Is there an example?
I think things like an easy one is, right, we don't take tables more than 8 people unless they're on feasting menu.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't want feasting menus, so you can make a judgment and go a la carte for 9 people. That's fine. But sometimes you look and you go, oh, fuck me, there's an a la carte here of 12 people. What's happened? And then you go and find out and they say, oh, well, they really pressurized me and they want me to do it. And I spoke to kitchen and that's okay. And, that sort of thing's okay. As long as kitchen's okay with it, the table's okay. You're not too busy at the same time and you're able to do it. And that's an example of someone, using their initiative to get on with it and working outside the rules to make the guests feel looked after and happy and fine. And I think that's great.
How important is it to say no to a guest? Because the whole thing of like, the customer's always right, all that shit. Yeah. But I think it does, if you say yes saying no is actually important because, as you say, it could be suddenly 9 people or 10 people or 12 people on the a la carte menu. Yeah. But that could actually have a knock-on effect to the rest of how everyone else feels. Like, how important is it to actually like train your team to say no? Or not necessarily no, but like...
I think they're good at it. I mean, the thing about saying no is it's a red line stuff, The most likely person you're going to say no to is someone who's rude or horrid or too drunk or badly behaved or something like that. And once they step over that, and for example, a customer tells you to fuck off, which happens, believe it or not,
Yeah.
occasionally, you just got to be able to just go, no, you fuck off. That's that. You're going. You're not getting served. I'm really sorry. Our relationship's over now. Catch you later.
See you later, mate.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, that happens, believe it or not, in pubs.
Even here, people just...
Very occasional. Not as often as you might think, but it does happen occasionally.
Who said you're not good enough?
Oof. I can't think of that being an issue. For me, I just always wanted to push to be better. I pretty much ignore people who are negative or diss me or in any way. And like I worked in corporate for pub companies for 30 odd years, and I can't think of a time when people said I wasn't good enough. People might have said, "Don't agree with you," and I think you're a mentalist, but I always tried to prove those people wrong by continuing on the track I was doing, and I managed to prove myself through sales and profitability and happy customers.
What's the example when people said you're a mentalist?
I mean, if you go back to the Guinea, and I went to them and I said during the pandemic, the Pizza Express has gone bust across the road. Can't we just speak to the landlord, get the bloody keys and run it? And they basically said, that's not what we do. You can't do that. So I went personally to the landlord. So
you were going to run the Pizza Express as a Pizza Express?
No, we ran it as the Guinea. So
right.
Basically, we got the keys of the place, put white tablecloths on the whole thing, set up a service station, and we were running the food from the Guinea kitchen across the road and serving people in there. And we did it for a year, really successfully. And like when I said we were doing that, and we're going to, I mean, imagine bringing plates of food across the Bruton Place in the rain with umbrellas. You know, it sounds fucking stupid and daft and a bit like off the wall, but we did it, and it was really profitable. And you know, when I said it first to the guys there, they went, "That ain't happening, mate. That is just not normal behaviour." And the landlord won't give you the place anyway, and you won't be able to do it because of X, Y, Z, and A, B, and C. I just went, I would do it anyway. And
how did you convince them to, like? Did you just go and how? Because I think a lot of people, I think pushing against the grain or doing things differently is a real strength. But I think people can have the idea, but either lack the bravery to do it or upselling people on the idea. I think selling people on ideas is a superpower. It's what Danny Mayer does so well.
Yeah.
Like how do you do that? What would your advice be for someone who's like, you've got this amazing idea, but they can't push against it? Do you know what I mean?
So I was having a conversation about this morning. I think some of the best leadership and the best ideas come from a single place. They don't come from a committee of people making a decision. And I think pubs are good for that when you're the landlord, because I'll just go, right, this carpet's got to go, and changing the carpet, I'm going to do a design for the carpet, and the carpet's going to be different. And you crack on, you do it, and you live with the decision, and you continue to live with that decision, and you make it work, and you make it look nice. I'm not sure carpet's the best idea, but you know, I think when you go and look at pubs, for example, you look at I don't want to name a particular chain or whatever, but you look at a pub belonging to a company that's got 300 pubs or 2,000 pubs, and you go in there, you can see and feel that the decision making's been made by committee, that everything is kind of lacking in spirit and style. It's very flat. It's very similar to the other ones that they do. The pictures on the wall, while they look like they might be interesting when you go really close, they're not fantastic iterations of what they are. The lighting's never right. The way that people flow through the building always feels slightly uncontiguous. There's a feeling that, you know, the space isn't right. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that it's not done by a single person, that it's done by loads of people. It
feels like you kind of had your own sort of free reign in that when you were working for those big corporates. Like, how did you get yourself in that situation?
I did it over years and years by just being pretty pig-headed about doing what I wanted to do and proving I was right by increasing sales.
And by the end, they were just like, right, Osh knows what he's doing.
Fucking leave him alone. It's not worth it. I remember a boss saying to me, a long time ago, about 15 years ago. The thing about you is, if you see a door, you always kick it open. You know, I thought that was a good analogy for what I'm like as to manage. You know, I always just fucking want to see what's on the other side and barge through and try and do it.
I love the idea of an idea comes from a single person. And last time we talked about sort of top-down leadership, which is you, Ashley, and Charlie, like the order, chaos, and perfection. It's like how it trickles down, and I suppose that's your north. Pointing north is your example of that. But then I love businesses that really encourage bottom-up ideas. You know, like the Starbucks writing on the cup was one single person. That didn't come from the top down. That came from the bottom up. That was what one single person said, right, the queue's fucked and we need to create a moment of magic.
Yeah.
I'm going to write someone's name on the cup.
Yeah.
And bang, there you go. Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks, says he would have made way more money if he just patented that cup. The cup that everyone fucking uses now.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was saying, so that was, the cup was a top-down thing. You were doing bottom-up innovation in Young's. You were saying, right, we're going to go and rip open Pizza Express. I'm going to do it. You know that works. Single people, single moments of genius. How do you encourage your team?
I'm always watching out for that here.
And so do you encourage? How do you encourage it though? Because I think it's so easy for people.
It's all about empowering, you know.
Yeah.
And you know when you make that decision, you do what you think I would do. Then that stuff actually happens by itself. I remember when we opened first. I think we were only open a couple of days in November last year. And we'd had a busy night. Everybody left. And the bar team were at the bar. And I've just gone to congratulate them. And one of the guys said to me, he said, "What is it about shots?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "These people coming in ordering like 8 sambucas or 5 tequilas or 10 slippery nipples. What's that about?" And this is what a lad who's come over from Dublin who hasn't really seen this culturally before.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, you know, it's just a thing. People have shots." He says,
"Well, do people not have shots in Dublin? Is that not really a thing?"
"Not particularly. Not in the pubs these guys worked."
Right.
And so I said, "Well, what's the problem?" He said, "Every time they do it, they're either dickheads when they ask or they become dickheads straight after." And I said, "Maybe." He said, "Yeah, I'm telling you, they're all shouting at each other and doing this, that, and the other, and I don't get it." And I said, "Well, what do you think we should do?" He said, "We shouldn't sell them." And I've gone, "Okay, let's give it a go." And do you know what? We don't sell shots. And it completely changes the mood of the place, I think. And I think it was a seminal moment for that. There's something about the fact that we don't really do cocktails either. That most people have what you might call proper drinks, the pints, glass of wine, gin and tonic. So they're slow drinking. There's none of that frenetic, let's get pissed attitude. And that completely changes the environment.
Daniel Kahneman, who's a behavioral economist, which is basically what Rory does. And he basically says the moment of an experience, our satisfaction levels are greatest at the peak, which is in the middle, and the end.
Yeah.
Is that peak and rule. And he says,
yeah, the peak and rule, that's, there's a lot of people think about that in restaurants.
Yeah, what would you say yours are? Yeah.
The souffle, I mean, is pretty cool, I think. And, you know, we spend a lot of time making sure that those desserts are pretty amazing. And also the bill thing. I mean, one of the things that annoys me in a restaurant is when you order the bill and they bring you the bill and then they disappear again.
Yeah, that's so fucking annoying.
I mean, why? So, I mean, it's always been, since we've done it, that when you bring a bill to the table, you've got the PDQ machine.
Yeah.
Because when someone orders a bill, guess what they want to do? They want to go. You know? How often does that happen?
Yeah, mate.
I mean, it seems so bloody obvious.
Yeah.
But I think probably 70-80% of restaurants, you ask for the bill, they bring you the bill and fuck off again. Leave you there too. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah. Just look at it.
Because you've eaten everything.
Yeah.
You've probably got nothing left. You actually ask for the bill because you want to pay.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know.
Espressos is sponsored by supply chain software gurus Unleashed. It talks your e-com and accounting software. It's helped islands cut admin time in half, get granular clarity on your margins, know where your stock is, don't miss availability. Brands like Candy Kittens, Tiny Rebel and Trip all use Unleashed, and so should you.